Hopefully everything is fine. I'm testing out this ring light. I have no idea how cameras work or how good images look, so it could look terrible and I wouldn't know, so sorry if it does. I made a little piece of music for my sister's story called The Nth Degree of Separation, which is a fan fiction for Detroit Become Human, and this video I want to very quickly break down some of the ideas and thoughts that went behind the creation of it. This project started out as me demoing a bunch of loop ideas for potential pieces. The one that I ended up working with was simply the kick drum and that descending bass line. That was it in the entire project, and then later on I decided to add a bunch of stuff to it. I added 3 snares and decided to reverse them to give a nice whooshing effect because I like whooshes, and I eventually changed the bass line just a little bit to go up a half step and then back down. So the bass line I ended up settling with was a long suspended C note, then it descends, that repeats again, and then a C sharp. So it just goes up by a half step, then it does its whole descend, and then it does that twice as well, and then it repeats back with C. Originally I wanted the kick drum pattern to have this really cool delay effect, but I accidentally added 2 delays, which caused it to delay once and then get quiet, and then the second delay came in and made it louder again, and I really liked that effect, so I just continued on with that. For the snares I just added a reverb. As I was building the track's tension, I decided to add some piano. It was a very simple piano, just a C augmented for the C chord and a C sharp diminished for the C sharp. After that section I introduced the guitars. I have 5 guitar layers, one of which is a lead guitar and 4 rhythm guitars. The 4 rhythm guitars are playing the exact same thing, it's just that they have slightly different presets and are panned really wide so that they have this nice big effect. I was really inspired by Muse to do this, like Take a Bow and Algorithm, which have these really big guitar moments and that are kind of in the background but still have this really grand scale to them, so I was very interested in using those. As I was working on this track, I was kind of just throwing everything into one big pile and then later on taking things out and moving them around so that I could have the build of tension. But the problem I had is that when I introduced the guitars, there was this huge ramp in tension that kind of came out of nowhere. So while I liked that effect, I really did want a bridge between the two, so I added this really quick little line, which is Connor's theme from Detroit Become Human. So I wanted to add this kind of tension and also some symbolism to relate to the story. One of the first things that I added to build tension but later decided to put in this way later section was this piano line that goes from C augmented to C sharp diminished, but it kind of arpeggiates them a bit. And I found that to be really cool and really tense, but at the original time I was adding it, I wasn't too sure because it was just the bass line and these really tense piano chords, and I was not really sure. Although eventually I found their purpose to be in the really tense bit. The thing that I found really useful in this project that I actually took onto other projects was the concept of slapping everything into one gigantic canvas and then shifting things around. Even if doing that for like a verse, chorus kind of song, you could still have your verses have all these things on it, then separate some of them for verse 1, and then separate some of them for verse 2, and chorus 1, chorus 2, all these kinds of things. A lot of times what I have trouble with is when I separate it to another section, I feel like there should be something different, but I'm not sure what there is, and it's easier to take things out of a section than to add things in my experience. Some people find it a lot easier to just pile things on, and I find it easy to pile things on in the beginning. Later on I find it difficult because I don't really want to mess with anything. I'm less sure of my decisions. This is probably my favorite track that I've made this year, and it was even more special that I was able to make it for the Nth Degree of Separation because I really love the story. And I may decide to continue this later on into more of like a grand Nth Degree of Separation theme, which is kind of what it is right now. But, you know, only time will tell, and right now I'm working on other things, so I'm not really touching it, but I may decide to do something with it later on. Also, anyone wondering for the music video, it was a GIF made by my sister, which I just chopped up and made it fit with the music. Really simple stuff, and yeah, that's pretty much all that I had to do. And the GIF was titled Delta, so I just decided to name the track Delta. Yeah, simple as that. But yeah, that is the track I made for the Nth Degree of Separation called Delta. Evidently I have a really tough time saying Nth Degree of Separation. She made the name really difficult.